Good morning. Today is April the 14th, Tuesday, 2020. I'm doing a brisket today, and I'm recording this basically for my own record. If you want to give advice, tips, whatever, go right ahead. Be honest with you, I might listen to them, I might not. I'll just take what I need, and what I don't, I'll throw away. Okay. I've got a 13-pound brisket that I bought yesterday. Actually 13.07 for those technical individuals. Got it at Brookshire's. Good slab of meat. I'm gonna open it up and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I've got it rinsed, got it open and rinsed the blood and stuff off of it and all that good stuff. Got a pretty good cut of meat here. It's got a real thick fat cap on it. I'll turn it over so y'all can see. And then we'll turn it around so you can see even better. So, see, it's good and thick right in through here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down because I watched other people and they say, trim it down to about a 1/4 inch. That way it doesn't get all yucky. And you know what, that's a good idea. I've done another one. I've done one other brisket. So. Okay, so I didn't do much trimming here. Really, I tried to trim it more than it was, and I wound up getting a little close. So we're just going to go with this. It's already pretty thin. Looks like pretty well trimmed when the people did it there. So pretty good place. I am going to get rid of this piece here and probably this hunk of fat right here. And I might do something with that right there. So do that and be back in a minute. Okay, so what I've done is I have trimmed the meat. It was pretty well trimmed on the fat cap. The fat cap didn't need a lot of trimming. I tried to trim it a little bit, but I kind of got into it. I'm not a butcher, so sue me. But I did trim the sides on each side. That way I've got a good place to put my rub, which is going to consist of salt, pepper, and I'm going to do something I do with prime rib. I'm going to cut some slices in it and insert garlic. So we're going to see how that turns out. Now on this side here, you'll see I gave this side a cut on this side right here and got most of that fat that's in there out, because there's a big old wedge of fat right in there between the two muscles, between the flat and point. Thank you, my wife. So we're ready to, as far as I know, I'm going to do the cuts and I'm going to put the garlic in. So here's my garlic. I've already got it cleaned up and everything. And I don't know how it's going to work. Like I said, that's the reason I'm doing this video. So if it does good, then I keep it. If it doesn't do good, well, I don't keep it. Either way, you don't have to eat it, so don't worry about it. So that one's in. That one's going in. Say bye-bye. See ya. Wouldn't want to be you. And I'm going to do it all on this side of the meat, because it wouldn't do any good doing it on the fat cap. I don't think. Maybe it would. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Jab that in there like that. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, one over here, one right there. That was pretty deep. Let's put that one right here. Maybe I should put that one right there. Stick it in there. Good thing about garlic, it grinds up. It smushes. So that's good. Yes, I said smushes. Put the garlic in there, bury it basically. And you turn that way it doesn't come back out, because you don't want to play peekaboo with garlic. 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there one there? No. Okay. Okay. Let's get it on the side here. And drop one in there between those two muscles and that little fat protection ridge they got right there. See, it's in there good enough. Then I'm going to come over here on this side where I cleaned all that fat out. And I'm going to put one right in there. If it turns out great, awesome. If it doesn't, yeah, oh well. Either way, that's going to be fat scap side down. Now, I'm going to wash my hands and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've washed my hands and I'm ready to put some seasoning on it. Now it's going to be real simple. I'm going to use salt and pepper. And I'm going to use the salt liberally. Get it good and salted. And everything I've watched says it's a good hunk of meat. You can put plenty of salt on it. So guess what? It's going to have plenty of salt on it. They say you don't rub it, you pat it. So it's patted. Now we'll do this side over here. That might have been a little too much. Oh well, right there on the end, it'll go for the burn ends. And make sure we get it all over. And before you ask, I'm cooking this fat side down, fat cap down, because I have an offset Kingsford smoker. Now, nobody's paying me any royalties for advertising or anything like that, so this is just personal preference stuff. If you got a Weber or whatever other kind, then suit yourself. But there's always a debate, I know it's ongoing, about fat side up or fat side down. Fat cap up or fat cap down. Or fat cap down. And had all my coffee this morning, y'all forgive me. It just depends on your smoker, really. You want the fat cap towards your heat, towards your heat source. And that's what really matters, because that fat cap, that'll get in here, is going to protect the meat from burning on that side toward the heat source. And it is my personal belief that if you put it on top in the assumption that it's going to drip down into the meat and baste the meat, no, it's not going to happen. Fat and water do not mix. So, and I go low and slow, 225, 250 range, and this end is going to go toward the smoker box. So there's the salt, and the pepper will be next. And I'm going to add a little heat to it too, I think. I'm going to put a little cayenne in it, because I like a little zip. I'm not going to overdo it on the cayenne, as my wife looks at me like, oh my gosh, what's he going to do? And my son looks at me because he doesn't like heat, other than chili heat. My son's the one running the camera, by the way. by the way, I'm in Texas, in case you're wondering.
East Texas.
Got 18 acres out in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely love it. Wouldn't trade it for anything. No, it's not for sale. I would have used fresh ground pepper, like from peppercorn, and ground it myself, but I didn't have enough, so this is what's getting used, the black pepper. So we got some cider, little cayenne pepper. I like cayenne, but not everybody does. So I'm gonna put some right here on this end here. I'm not gonna put it too heavy, at least in my opinion. I don't think it's too heavy. It's a good cut of meat, and it can handle it. It'll have just a little zip. I don't think it'll be too much for you, mister. So, do a little more. That's about, you know, whatever, 2 tablespoons.
Couple handfuls, it looks like.
Yeah, 2 tablespoons. And take that and just kind of rub it on there, see what we get. And we'll see the finished product later. But I hope it's good, obviously. And so now I'm going to get my fire going. Because no, I have not started that yet. Because I want this to have time to just kind of rest and absorb the flavors and all that good stuff before I put it on the smoker. Like I said, personal preference. So, alright. In a minute we'll go look at the fire and we'll see how I do it. Okay, so just to keep a record here, we're starting off. I had some smoking chips, mesquite flavored, or mesquite, not mesquite flavored, but actual mesquite wood, left over from when I did a steak or ribs, something. So we're going to put those in here to soak, okay? And I've got some mesquite wood that we're going to have soaking also. The reason I soak it is so it doesn't burn up. It'll give a good steady smoke and it'll kind of turn into its own charcoal. You'll see what I say. You'll see what I mean whenever we get to that point. But I get it soaked, that way it doesn't just catch fire. It'll sit there and simmer and smoke and put the flavor in the air, because I'm all about flavor. And because if it doesn't taste good, who wants to eat it, right? So, and I do experiments with food. I'll try stuff, and I'm not afraid to try stuff. And if it fails, I don't do it again. But if it's good and edible, then I'll do it again. I may tweak it a little bit here and there. Oh, by the way, never do cinnamon steak. It's not good. It may sound good. It's pretty bad. That was, in my book, that was absolutely perfect. And in our house, perfect means you never have to do it again, because it'll never be that way again. So, if I say something's perfect, no bueno. Okay, so we're going to go out here, look at, and get the fire started and all that good stuff. And we'll be right back. Alright, so got everything cleaned out and everything. Yeah, got all the old ashes and stuff out. And about ready to put the Kingsford mesquite briquettes in there. So load it into the top up here like this. And that's what it looks like when I get it all loaded up in there. I put the lighter fluid on it. Some people use a different method, but this is what I use. Close the door, leave the damper all the way open, let that burn down. Here, right there. This here's the grate for it. What I do with that soaked wood is I set it on top of here and I let it turn to charcoal, and then I'll put it down there whenever it comes time. And I kind of make my own charcoal like that. That goes there. These will get cleaned off, good and seasoned. That's another way of saying they're well used. Got that good and ready. We're going to close that. We're going to open that about halfway. We're going to keep this one on this side closed. That way that air can go through there and up there and not out here. That way we're going to bring the temperature up. I want to get the temperature up to about 250 before I put the meat on there. With the wind coming out of the northwest, west-northwest, and that'll come right in through here. It'll come right in through here and send it right on through. So we'll get the temperature up about 250 and then we'll start this process. It should take well into the night. So anyway, for right now, that's all. Okay, so something I did not show you a while ago. You see the direction of the grain. Now, to make tender meat, you want to cut across the grain. You don't want to cut with the grain because then it'll be all stringy and stuff, and nobody likes stringy meat. So, in order for me to be able to remember, because once the bark and everything gets on here, you're not really going to be able to tell. And sometimes the grain will run this way, and sometimes it'll run this way, or sometimes it'll run some kind of weird way. So, I'm just going to make a couple marks right here at the end. That way, when I look at it, I'll be able to tell that the grain of the meat needs to be cut, that the grain is running this way, that it needs to be cut across the grain like that. And that way I don't get stringy meat. Okay, so we finally got the temperature up. Right now it's sitting just shy of 300. I know when I open it up and put this in there, it's going to drop significantly. Had a little trouble getting the fire up to temperature. What I did is I poked the coals around and stuff like that. Finally I opened the firebox door instead of relying just on the damper, and that seemed to do the trick. In fact, I'm going to close it right now.
Looks like we're a hair above 300.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm closing it. So, I'm going to close it, and that'll calm that down a little bit. If it drops back down below where I want it, then I will reopen it. Okay. Now, in here, if you can see, over here, I have a Coke can in there. I have put a beer in that can. That helps the moisture. Now, that cap going down towards the end of the smoke, towards fire end. Okay, there we go, nice and sizzling. And the temperature dropped down to 250 and still dropping a little bit, 240. And it's slowly dropping. So having it up there, it dropped down to right about where I want it. I don't want it above 275 at the highest. I'd like to keep it between 225 and 250 if at all possible. We got this going. We'll check it again. I'll keep an eye on the coals and everything like that. Son, would you get the wood soaked? So while he gets that, I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm going to put that in here on top of that thing. Bring the camera over here. Okay. That's my poker stick. Had it for years. Good piece of wood. So I'm going to open this up. It's warm.
Well, duh, there's a fire in there.
And I'm just going to lay that wood that's been soaking right up there. And I'm not going to do it all at one time. Put about 3 or 4 chunks up there. Close the door. I've got that I put on top of that to keep that smoker box down there real good.
Got some mesquite pieces on the ground.
Yeah, well, yeah. And that drop of temperature is still between 240 and 250. So I'll check back in a little bit, see how it's going. I'll keep track on this throughout the day. And if something major comes up, I'll update you. The beer in the can in there will eventually evaporate, so I've got the rest of it. It's Dos Equis. You can use whatever brand you like, I guess. Okay, it's been about 4 hours. I peeked a while ago. It's looking good. It's looking real good. Temperature's been doing this yo-yo thing, you know, between 325 and 370. 320-ish. So, excuse me, 225 and 270. Yeah, 325. Yeah, I'm baking a cake. So, right now, I'm going to check the beer in the can, and I'm going to add some to it if it needs it, because it will evaporate. I'm going to give it a spritz, apple cider vinegar, and we're going to add more charcoal. We're going to do that before we open the stuff up to do that. That way, by the time we get it up, that's back up and all that good stuff. Alright, now, as you can see, I've recently put some new mesquite on here, and it's charring up nicely. And that's one reason for the temperature drop. That's about ready to go in there just a little bit, so we're just going to set that over here to the side like that. Finish that off right there. Okay, there we go there. Okay, there we go there. There's that. Alright, now we're going to open the lid here. Take a peek inside.
What's the temperature?
The temperature right now is 170, 180, but that doesn't matter right now. I know we're going to lose the temperature, but it'll be fine. Okay, so put the gloves right there. I don't think I'll need them. If I do, they're right there. I do. Okay, so we're going to raise the lid. And that is still looking nice and moist. Can you get a...
I am zoomed in on that. The beer bottle's poking up into it.
Okay. And the can is about half full, so I'm going to pour the rest of this in there.
Hang on.
And top that off. So, it's still looking nice and moist. We're going to give it a little spritzing. Okay, we're going to close it back up. Oh, let me. Honestly, I can't stand the smell of vinegar. Don't like it. But when it cooks, I hope it's good. I've never used this. I've never done the spritzing before. I only cooked one of the brisket, so we'll see how it does. A lot of people swear it's delicious. I just don't like vinegar. The smell. So I'm gonna get the meat thermometer, just poke it and see what it looks like on the inside, just for my own curiosity. It's probably not necessary, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I want to. And it's mine, and you can't stop me. So there. So. Okay, so I got my digital meat thermometer, and I'm gonna put it on the point and on the flat, and look at the two temperatures there. So here we go in the big middle of the point. Look at about 145. Let's see, about 140, about 150 right there. About 160. 163, and down here about 162. So it's cooking pretty evenly, which is good. In an hour I'll come back out, 45 minutes to an hour, I'll come back out and spritz it again, just to kind of keep it, you know, doing its thing. So anyway, thanks for watching so far, and see you in a little bit. Okay, so what I'm fixing to do is put these on here, because want a little snack. So, not right above it, but close enough. 5 minutes or so, come back, turn them over. Okay, so we're checking back here on the, I think it's been about 5 minutes, maybe 6, I don't know. And just kind of turn them over and see how they're doing. They look like they're doing okay.
Smells good.
Smells good. Thank you.
Yep. Well, I'm kind of split.
Yep. It's all right though. Run off, it can split. Okay, maybe another couple minutes and it'll be done on that. Okay, so here we are, they're ready to come off. You see I've pulled one off, I checked the internal temperature, it's good. Between 180 and 200, somewhere around there. So we're going to do this real quick, that way I don't lose much more heat. Because doing this, I have lost some heat to the actual brisket itself. So, oh well. Another 30 minutes ain't going to make a big difference after considering 15 hours. Or somewhere thereabouts. So, there we go. Stack them up. Okay, we're going to take these bad boys inside and see if you can eat a few of them. Okay, lay right there. We're going to take them inside, see what we can destroy on them. So, bon appetit. Okay. Okay, so we're back. It's 6:30-ish. So that's 7 hours in. We're gonna spritz it again. I've been spritzing it, I just haven't been recording it because who wants to really watch a bunch of that? Just restoked the fire. You can see the temperature is just under 200. It was about 210, 215 whenever I restoked it. Got good smoke. By the way, I'm using mesquite in case I didn't say that earlier. So let's see what it looks like right now. And I say that is some good looking stuff. Get a little dry on the ends though, right here. Okay, that's pretty good.
That looks delicious. I wish smell-o-vision was a thing.
Yeah, if y'all can smell this, y'all be in love. Y'all be asking for my address. And that can's good. Okay, we'll close it up. Don't want to lose any heat that we don't have to lose.
What's it at now?
Now I dropped down to about 160. But it will come back up quickly, so I'm not too worried about that. One thing I have had to patience myself on is not trying to be too exact with the temperature, keeping it right there. I know it's going to fluctuate. The first time I did this, I drove myself nuts because I was always trying to adjust something and everything, and really it just drove me nuts. But I've learned it's going to fluctuate, so I'm not stressing over it too much now. Just a little bit. Anyway, we'll check back in a few hours. Okay, we're back. I've poked the brisket with the thermometer, and at its lowest it's reading about 170-ish, 177, somewhere in there. I'm going to take it off when it gets to 185. That's in the thickest part. The other part, there's a couple other parts that are reading higher than that. So I'm going to continue to cook it and continue the spritzing until it gets to that temperature of about 185. I'm not exactly 100% positive, so we'll see how it turns out. I don't want it to be raw. I don't want it to be tough. I don't want it to be overdone and dried out either. So it's looking good. It's got a little wiggle wobble to it, but the temperature isn't quite there, and it's still a little tough going in with that. If you want, you can look at it here. I'm going to spritz it with the book. So, on the meat, like I said, it's looking real good. That's a little dry right there. You remember before how I said don't stress, right?
Yeah.
I'm stressing. I believe it is at the stall, is what they call it.
What's the stall?
The stall is when it reaches a certain temperature, and it just kind of stalls at that temperature in the thickest part. If you want to know why it does that, you can look it up. I'm not going to go into it. Now, I didn't latch it all the way one time earlier today, and went inside for a few minutes and came back out. And looked at the temperature, it was up to 300. I'm like, holy smoke. So looked over here, and it had popped open like that, and the temperature went because it was sitting there burning real good. So I closed it off, got the temperature back down to the range I wanted it, and so we're gonna let it go a little longer. My stick's getting kind of short. Yeah, a little bit. Funny. Yeah, I know some of you made jokes about that. Whatever. So we're going to let it go, do its thing a little longer, and I'll check it in about an hour. So until then. Okay, it is, oddly enough, exactly 11 hours after we put this thing on here this morning. I just checked the internal temperature. It's 195 in the thin spot, 185 in the thickest spot. Actually, the thin spot's close to 200. So I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to wrap this sucker up, and I'm going to stick it in an ice chest. And anyway, let's see how this thing looks. That way y'all can get a good look at it. That thing right there went on there looking like meat. Now I know it looks like an asteroid, as some people call them, you know. Looks like a chunk of charcoal. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that off. We're going to put it on here and we're going to wrap it up. Alright, here we go. I'm pick it up with the meat hook, so because I'm not sticking my hand in there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, look at that. Let's turn this sucker over and see what it looks like. Ooh!
I wish y'all had smell-o-vision.
That is some good looking, fine cooking. Mmm.
Oh,
That was almost disastrous.
that thing is dripping with moisture.
Yes, it is. We're going to wrap it. We're going to wrap it again when we get inside. That's not big enough. So we wrap it one way, we're going to wrap it the other way when we get it inside. And we might, no, I'm not going to start on that one. Alright, got that. Alright, now let's go inside and do this thing. Okay. Now this, I'm going to let you look at it in the light of the kitchen. That, my friends, is a good looking piece of meat right there. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. smells good too.
I wish y'all had smell-o-vision.
Yeah, I just tasted the forks that I used to pick it up with, the claws.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. When we get this open, when I cut this up tomorrow,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
How are we gonna reheat it?
Reheat. Let's see the reheat. And I use Reynolds Wrap because it's the best.
Reynolds Wrap heavy duty to be exact.
Heavy duty. Yep, yep. Okay. One way. Hold this under. Yes, this way. Hold it under. And that is still hot. That is. That's still good and hot. Feel that. Take feel that. Jim.
I did. Smell your hand.
Well, I've been around it all day, so. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I got a little latch it. I'm not gonna get my big one out because I don't need my big one. I am gonna do something to see if it'll fit in the bottom so I can split it right side up. And if it does, it'll be very close. Let's try it and see. You know what?
What?
Take a look in there. All right, there it sits. Not all broken hearted either. Broken hearted, I can't have any right now. But put the lid on that sucker. I'm gonna let it sit there. And in a couple hours, I'll pull it out. And I might just slice me off a chunk or two. So, whenever I slice it, you'll be able to see it. Until then. Okay, so we've let it rest a couple hours. And now we're going to take it out, put it on the pan here, and we're going to cut a few slices off of it. I may cut the whole thing up, I may say screw it and do it in the morning. So, here we go. And hot. I'm surprised how hot that is still. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to check the internal temperature. Just to see what it did. I know what it was before, or pretty close anyway. Okay, right there. It's going to top that about 160 right now. Or 162. I'm going to make it 165. You see, it's going to be about 145 and a half. That's after it's set in there for about 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. And it's still just as hot as, I mean, good temperature. Okay. So got it out. Now, you remember my marks where I made so I would know which way to cut. Now, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but that's where I made my marks. Those cuts are still there. So, I'm just going to, the bar's going to be alright. So, right there. See how this tastes. Now where I made the cut, that much of it, I cut that deep, and that's kind of dried out. But below that, it's nice, it's moist, it's tender. Even this piece is dried out. It's not really all that dried out, it's just drier than the rest of it's going to be. Good stuff right there. So, cut that off right there. Okay. Now, in case you can't see, that's got a real good smoke ring on it all the way through, just about. Well, it is all the way through. It's moist. I mean, you can take it and just mush it. It's so moist. And it's got a little bit of heat from the cayenne I put on it. But that's okay. I like it like that. If you put it on a sandwich or something like that, and not that fond of heat to begin with, you put it on a sandwich, and the mayonnaise or mustard or the other stuff will take that heat away. Put that right there, mister. Fellas, ladies, that's some good meat. That's just tender as all get out. Danny, that's some good stuff. Now, let's see what it looks like past this. This is where I made the original cut before I stuck it on there. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, now you can tell. Now this was the cut where I originally made it before I put it on the grill, or smoker, excuse me. Okay, you see how it got that char on it. But on the other side, you see nothing but beautiful, beautiful meat. Right there, that is just absolutely beautiful. And it's as tender as it can get. I mean, that's just good and tender. Excuse me. The meat, I mean, you can just take it and like that. I mean, the fat on the bottom, on the fat cap, flavor. You throw a little sweet barbecue sauce on here. And I use a few different kinds. Just depends on what I'm doing. You throw some barbecue sauce with this and you got something special right there. It's good without it. Don't get me wrong, it's good without it. Cut another slice off here. I do like to eat. Now, if you can see, that is a good piece of meat right there. And I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, or my meat where my mouth is. Yep. Nothing is overpowering. You can taste the meat itself. And you can't beat that with a stick. Got another slice here. Get a little deeper into it. Okay, get a little bit thicker here. And there you can see. Now who wouldn't like to have that for a piece of sandwich? Huh? Got just a little bit of that fat on the bottom. It's all rendered in and everything. You ain't gonna beat that. Oh yeah, that's tender. You sip. Yeah, it's just falling apart. I mean, it's just good stuff right there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and put it over here in my bowl, or container, or whatever you want to call it. There. See that? All right, cool. I'm going to take a look at that. Oh yeah. And the bottom side. Okay. And that's good stuff. Or maybe I'm just tired because it's 1:05 in the morning now. Now what I did, I know I said we'd fix this or continue this in the morning, but putting it up, I did a couple things before I did. I separated the flat from the point and took off in the thick end where the point and the flat are, and I come up with that, and that's the bottom part, and that's the end right there. It's going to be some good chopped right there. Now I have to say that I can smell the apple cider vinegar on here. I don't know if I'm liking that or not. In the future I may use apple juice. just because, as I said at the beginning, my aversion to vinegar. This here, get it back out. And this here, that's more what's going to be the sliced. Okay. And I might take that in right there, and I might make a little chopped out of it. But it's good. It's got a little more heat than I would like. As far as the cayenne, I might have went a little over on that. But I think if you put it with barbecue sauce or whatever, you'll be fine. And like I said, the reason I made this to begin with was for my own record. That way I would know next time what I did this time, and I can tweak it one way or the other. From what I understand, talking with experienced people, listening to experienced people, Big Mo, one of them, just on YouTube, and the thing he does for, I think it's Academy. Anyway, it's an ongoing thing. It evolves. So when I find one I like, I'm still going to tweak it just to see if I might like it some other way. See if I can improve on it. Just the kind of person I am. I like to improve on things. It's now about 1:30. I'm going to put this, cover it, stick it in the fridge. We'll do what we want to with it tomorrow. But a little too heavy on the cayenne. I'm not a fan of the apple cider vinegar. I can taste the vinegar, and I just don't like that. Maybe next time go with no cayenne. I think it'd be better without it. Next time start earlier. That way you've got time to do the burn-ins on the smoker. Because I'm not going to do them like one thing I saw and do them in a frying pan, because that's just not right. You started on the smoker, you ended on the smoker. Don't use the crutch. You saw right here, if you do it and you keep it moist and all that, it's going to come out moist and it's going to look good, it's going to taste good, it's going to be moist. If any of you have suggestions, anything, I'm open to reading them. Because like I said, I'm still learning. I'm not afraid to ask questions. If you want to ask me a question, I'll try to answer it. I don't know how much experience it'll help you, but I'll try. Or I can refer you to, I'll tell you to go look up someone else's video that's got more experience or something. I don't know. But any suggestions? Hey man, you might try this next time, or okay, now if you look real close, you'll see the different color in here. This is kind of a side note, probably be at the end of the video. When I was pouring the remainder of this, which is about that much, into the Coke can, smoke got in here. And now we have smoke in a bottle. So let's see if this comes out. Let's see if it's smoke or if I'm going to look like an idiot. It is smoke. Yep, that's smoke. You see it come out?
I'm not seeing it.
And now it's clear. So, I had smoke in a bottle.
More mesquite wood.
Yeah, I need to put more wood on there.
Okay.
Let's hang this. Actually, I need to put more chocolate in there. what I need to do. I'll add some more charcoal since I noticed it needed some. And all my peeking and looking and everything at the links. These are hot links, they're not bratwurst or anything like that. We're in Texas, I don't know what a bratwurst is. Actually I do, but Texas links barbecue. Gotta have it. Okay. Put this over here. There we go. Yeah. See, that'll just flavor it a little bit too, so it'll be all right. And I am feeling good myself. Yes, sir. Take this here, kind of work that around in there. Get the ashes down. And that right there. Kind of spread out and round it out. Not that much. Okay. Well, that was smart, wasn't it? Okay.
Are you going to put some more mesquite on it now?
Nope, not right now. I want to get it back up to temperature as soon as possible.
Okay.
There we go. Do that.